Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new to the market, you've heard about the EV craze. We have NIO, Tesla, CCIV, Lucid, all these stocks blew up in 2020 and a little bit into 2021. But what's going to be the stock for 2021 going into 2022? I think I may have the big solution, a very safe play as well that will double my money here in the next year, year and a half, maybe even 3x. We're seeing a massive dip on this stock right now, and it's for a reason that really is not that important. I'm going to get into all that here in a second, but the stock is MP Materials, and basically what they do, they're the back end of these EV companies and the clean energy wave coming into America and the whole world. What MP does is mine rare earth materials, primarily focused on the clean energy sector. We're gonna get into that content here in a sec, but before we do, hit that sub button down below, leave a thumbs up, and make sure you have the notifications turned on because I'm posting videos every single day like this video going over stocks that I see high potential and high growth in with great entry opportunities. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. Okay, so I'm gonna try to cover this video as quickly as possible, so stay with me, and if you have any questions, comment down below because I'll try to answer them all. Now, what is MP Materials and what really are rare earth elements? You can go to their website, mpmaterials.com, go to the About Us, and they do a very good job explaining these. And you can go down and they have the periodic table down here, and you can actually click on these and see the specific elements that they're mining and then what exactly they do. They do a very good job explaining each specific need and, thing that these things are fulfilling. I would really look into that, and we're gonna get a little bit more into that here in a second, but the price of these elements are going through the roof. So MP Materials is really growing in value as we see in the near term future and long term. Now, this is one article I do want to talk about. It's from the Motley Fool, so I don't recommend taking everything they say literally, but there is some good content here because they cover some key points on why this stock rose to almost $50. So MP Materials just released their fourth quarter earnings and they killed. Profit rose 22 times over the past year. The sales were up 100% as well. Things were through the roof, and there were some key factors behind this with MP Materials. Now, you can go and read this for yourself. I'll have the link down below so you can cover that. But the things that I want to mention here is that not only are they increasing their sales, but the value of these minerals and their materials are going through the roof. So not only are they having more people to sell to because the EV and clean energy space is growing rapidly throughout the whole world, not just the United States and the EU, Asia, they're growing so fast, but also the price of these minerals on the market is just increasing overall. So it's not just them bumping up their prices, it's the whole market bumping up the prices. So you have more customers and it's getting more expensive for those specific materials. So MP is set in a very good spot, and they're the leader right now in this space, and they are growing rapidly. But we've had a pretty big drop on the overall stock, and I'm going to get into the chart here in a little bit, but first I do want to cover why we dropped and why I'm excited about this drop. So if we look here, you can see that they're having a public offering / direct offering, whatever you want to consider it right now, for common stock. Now, the price of this offering is going to be at $35, and we're sitting underneath $35. On the channel, we've traded a few of these offering plays, and this is setting up beautifully because the financials behind MP back the bullish case for this to keep pumping back up. So when we get into the chart, I don't want you to be discouraged by the way that we look right now. This is a very big buying opportunity. The first time I made the video, we bought in at $32 and we reached about $50, and now we're back down to close to $32. I don't believe we're going to touch that range. If we do, I'll add some more, but right now MP is one of the safest plays in my personal portfolio. Now, this is not financial advice, so you need to do your own due diligence, but I recommend looking at these key points in these articles a little bit more in depth. But I am pretty positive as you look into them, you'll be more confirmed and more bullish on the stock the longer you research MP. And then the last thing I'm gonna look at, so if you go to Yahoo Finance, you can go to historical data, and then you can see the overall volume that we've been seeing. So over the past 3 months since January, give or take, the average volume you see right here on the far right has been about 3 million. We hit 5 million some days. We had a 7 million day here when we hit $40. 110 million. Okay, so you see we're stagnating. We'll have about a whole bunch of 4 to 3 million, and then we'll hit a 10, and then we'll kind of scale back down. But over the past 2 days, we've seen 37 million worth of volume and shares moved on this stock. That is absolutely through the roof. We have never seen this amount of volume. I am telling you, we are not going to sit at this price range. So when we look at the chart, I would take this as a very good opportunity to be adding to the portfolio. Okay, so we're gonna look at the chart on a longer term viewpoint. So you can see that we're trying to hold this little range right here, this local top of that last, SR flip that we had, support resistance. So you can see that this is trying to hold, and now we're kind of pushing underneath it right there, kind of flipping that support and resistance. If you zoom in a little bit right there, you can see we're kind of flipping underneath it, getting a push maybe to that downside. Now, where's the absolute bottom here? It's hard to say, but I would suspect a $32 drop, maybe down to 32, 31.9. But I don't see us holding in that range for long. You have to remember, they're doing this public offering at $35. So that will most likely be the local bottom once that offering takes place, which is going on in 2 days. So you're not having too much time to really think about this decision. But again, this is not financial advice. You need to research it for yourself. So as we look, what do I expect on the chart? Now, there is some bearish case on here. There is a little bit of a bearish case. We saw a massive drop on OBV. A lot of people definitely moved out of the stock. That is worth noting. That is 100% factual. We can see the OBV pushing down. So that was bad. So we are holding this local bottom though right here. We want to see a hold and a sudden stop. I do believe buyers are going to start pouring in once this offering is over, and I could see us hitting back to that $40 range potentially by the end of next week. Now, this stock is one of those plays that I have in the long-term portfolio that I do not even look at. So I'm not considering this for an option or anything short term. However, looking at this, I do see the potential for quick money. I'm personally not playing it like that. I believe MP Materials is a long-term hold, and this is going to be a $70 stock potentially by the end of the year. We're seeing the scale and the growth of EV and clean energy being pushed out greatly, especially here in America. We see Joe Biden, he wants to see a whole American fleet of work vehicles to be EV. So I think there is a clear demand. I think clean energy is going to be pushed as well. So MP Materials is going to be the leader in this space. That's just my personal opinion. And as you do your own due diligence, I believe you'll kind of start to side with me on my theory on MP. So looking at what I expect, so possibly we get a dump down. Let's say the absolute bottom is right here, $29, $30 give or take. That's about a 10% drop overall risk, in my opinion. That's the local bottom right here. I don't see us pushing down that low, but let's say it happens. I do see slow, steady growth back to the upside as they release their earnings, and their earnings did not just barely beat. They absolutely shredded. The EPS was a 0.03, and they came out at 0.15, which was a 5x beat. Absolutely astronomical numbers, and then the revenue beat as well. We already went over those numbers and why that revenue is increasing and set to continue to increase as this becomes a more prominent, desired materials throughout the whole world, which it is happening right now. So as we look at this, what exactly do I expect? What exactly do I want to happen here? So this is just a plot of the future to come and what I see happening on the stock. I do not see a logical reason for this stock to be heading down, even with the economy in the situation that it's in, and we're having very choppy days. We're seeing stocks come down. MP is one of those stocks that should hold its value through and through. We saw a massive rise even through the terrible economy that we just had, and we hit about $48, $49 very, very quickly, even though the economy, like I said, was complete trash. So I suspect them to bottom out and then slowly start this trend back up. And then when the economy does, in fact, get a little bit more bullish, we could see some parabolic movement easily breaking over this top of $51, $52. Now, let's look at what happened in the past. So in the past, what happened, we got a very similar movement from this. We had a very parabolic move to that upside throughout November and December, and then we started coming down, and then we consolidated sideways, and then we started it again. That's essentially what I'm expecting here, except since we're having this offering, I do suspect we regain this level very quick. So I want this to be very much emphasized that this is all price action as well. I'm not using EMAs or MACD or any of these other bogus indicators. That's not what I use. Some people, maybe they work for them, but you can tell a lot by the way that people are buying and selling the stock based on the chart. And then we use fundamentals aligned with this. This typically leads to a very decent prediction on when is a good time to buy and when is a good time to sell. So what I see is some sideways movement and then quickly getting above this level and then sideways at this level between $40 and $37 before getting that imminent push back to the upside, breaking into that $60 range, because ultimately that's my goal before the end of summer. And then we're probably going to see steel and oil increase as well. So when these natural earth materials start to increase, I suspect MP does increase as well when the dollar starts to decrease in value that's another thing to take into account. Okay, so wrapping up my thoughts on MP. Now I know I just brought you guys BFT yesterday. They're having their merger. MP is probably that number 2 stock. It is extremely safe. It's the clean energy play. I don't really have too much EV in the portfolio besides NEO, but MP makes up for all of that. We have another graphite play going on. I don't want to get into that right now, but these are my 2 biggest and best safe plays over the next year. You know, I'm a day trader, but when it comes to long term, I like safe, high growth stocks, and BFT and then MP Materials may even have more upside in the near term future than BFT. That's something to take into account. Scale of 1 to 10, this is a 10 out of 10. BFT was a 10 out of 10. MP Materials, 10 out of 10 for me. I love these stocks. Do your own due diligence. Look into them for yourself, because I am positive as you look into these 2 stocks, you will be extremely, extremely happy and you will be bullish just like I am. That is going to wrap up the video. If you got anything out of it, make sure you hit that sub button down below, leave a thumbs up, and I am live every single night between 8:30 p.m. and 10 p.m. Central, going over stocks that I'm trading, taking on questions, and then I'm live typically every morning between 8:30 a.m. Central for the market open as well. Have a good one, boys. Namaste.
Check.